Who are the coolest dudes on the planet?
United States veterans.
What's the coolest sport on the planet?
Pro wrestling.
And what would be the coolest podcast on the planet? That would be this one.
U.S. military vets talking pro wrestling.
This is the No Shave Man Cave. Two badass disabled vets sharing their love of pro wrestling, giving you their perspective as fans, talking about current events and matches, history of titles, and who knows what else. Let's do it.
Welcome to the No Shave Men Cave. Now your hosts, Ellie Jair and Jay Tilley.
It's time! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the No Shave Man Cave. I'm Ellie Jair.
I'm Jay Tilley.
And ladies and gentlemen, you have found yourself smack dab in the middle of Raw. Yes, it came to you from Little Rock, Arkansas. Arkansas is known as the natural state, has been known to find diamonds just like this episode of Raw. Woo! Talk to me. What do you think, JT?
You were feeling this one, huh?
Dude, I am sorry to those who have hearing impairments that require them to wear devices, and I'm over here banging around. I thought that this episode of Raw moved every single storyline from now to Backlash and into SummerSlam. And just like a frame of reference, it's April. SummerSlam is August. Yes, they're both A's. And there's no pay-per-view in June, which means they're going to have all of June. There's a July 1st is Money in the Bank in London. And then you're going to go into SummerSlam in August in D-Town, the Motor City. And dude, that promo from Trip, like, we'll go down the card. I don't even want to follow a format today because I was digging it, and I was all in my WWE wrestling brain feels, and I almost forgot how bad the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania was because I enjoyed this episode that much.
All right. I mean, it was good. It didn't make my nipples hard
Daddy.
It didn't make my nipples hard. It was I mean,
Let's see.
I will say, like, as we go through the card, there's definitely a few matches that are like, woo, that was really good. I enjoyed. There was some things that I thought were just same old WWE predictability. Couple things that could have gone without it. I will say I enjoyed watching it not live because I got through the 3-hour show in like an hour and 10 minutes because I was able to kind of bloop, bloop. I don't really care about this match. I'll watch the quick highlights of it, but and then like the entrances and then the entrances that lead into a commercial that come back from a commercial that lead to a vignette that lead to another commercial. So the poor person is in the ring that whole time. I kind of got to clip through some of those, but it was decent. I mean, it wasn't a horrible Raw. It definitely was not the Monday night after WrestleMania, but
So the crowd, it opens, it's not quite Excalibur. It's Monday night. You know what that means. Monday Night Raw opens. They're in Little Rock, Arkansas. They haven't been in Little Rock in a minute. And they've been floating around kind of the Central States area. For those who know the Harley Race and Ted DiBiase, they used to battle over that Central States title in the Missouri and Arkansas, that whole Mississippi Valley area. And, so the crowd has, some nostalgia for some good wrestling. This is a newer arena. But so the show opens, and instantly I was like, man, and Usos, they're not the tag team champions anymore. They may or may not be in the good favors of your tribal chief, but man, when they were like the bloodlines in your city and threw up those ones, I was like, I had to hold my hand down. I was like, I'm not one of the ones. And then when you hear the music hit of the Judgment Day, I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. I feel like I'm in like Bizarro World, and two factions coming together. And, it really brought me back to like a real nostalgic era of the Monday Night Wars, and Paul Heyman getting on the mic and just really selling what was occurring. And I loved when he said, ladies in Little Rock.
Yeah, that was
Ladies
good.
and gentlemen. And I wish we could get to the point where when he would say Paul Heyman, everyone would say it, because you get like,
Half
if
and half.
the crowd was, you get half and half, right? And no, so it was a good start. I felt they did some good business. And did you pick up on any weird vibes yet?
Yeah, so I thought I'm with you though. I thought this opening segment was much better than the just welcome to Raw. This was a pretty good setup. It felt like the Judgment Day was interrupting at first, and then when you find out it was all part of the deal, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I appreciated the fact that they addressed the Finn Balor thing. That hey, Finn doesn't like the bloodline, and we understand that. But for this one night only, he's making an exception. I appreciated. Okay, cool. We're going to tie the fact that he flopped on the floor like a fish for a while. We're going to tie that into, the fact that he almost beat Roman and didn't. I loved the Rhea Ripley staring off at Solo. And like those two are the enforcers. I love that, man. And when Paul Heyman's like, I'm gonna switch with them. And then she just like, not even that skipping a beat, slides right over them. And I was like, man, I wonder if that was planned or that was like her just being her. I would love to know about that part of it.
Yeah,
but
I was waiting for someone to break.
Yeah.
And as like they would zoom in, and Solo, he needs to get an ESPY for best supporting wrestler. And, the character, I've only heard his voice once, and that was
like Friday night.
Friday night when he said, tell the tribal chief I got this. And like, that's what you expect from like a world champion or what would have been like a Brock Lesnar. He was a show. He was a specialty. Or when they would do the Fiend. And I just like, I'm still riding that sort of WWE brain high from hearing Solo's voice, seeing him in the ring. And now you're going to see a collision between two of the most powerful and popular factions. And now you have all these like outlier stories that you can build.
Yep.
Not only on the outside of them, but between them as factions. And then Rhea going, not yet.
Yeah.
That was like,
do we have a problem here? Not yet. And then, you also picked up on the weirdness between the Usos and Solo and Paul Heyman. Like obviously they're on the outs. But yeah, I thought it was, for an opening segment, I thought it was great. And anytime I get to see Rhea and the way she's just such a star, man. Like she's got, sky's the limit for her, because whenever she's on camera, like, and I'm not just saying this because she's a good looking woman, you're just attracted to what she's doing. Like, all right, because there's a point in the match later where she, we'll probably jump back around, but she takes out KO with that clothesline, and then she just sits in the corner, kind of laughs at her, and like, just like little things she does outside, she's just got that presence about her that is impressive. And I think she needs to hold that belt. I think they need to give her a challenger, because right now she's just holding it and nothing's going on with it. So I'm a little worried about that. But yeah, she's got that aura and that presence for sure to be a star, because look at who she was in that ring with, right? She's in there with Solo Sikoa, the Usos, Paul Heyman, Damian Priest, Finn Balor, and we're talking about what she did and how she slid over. Oh yeah, and Dominic. But we're talking about like, hey, did you see that Rhea do this? And Rhea said this. She's in there with some guys that have been in the business for, Paul Heyman for decades. You're looking at Finn Balor, who's been all over the world.
Oh yeah.
You're looking at Damian Priest,
one of the original
Bullet Club members. Prince
yeah.
Devitt. Yep. And the fact that she is in there just standing her own, and to like I said, to the fact that like on Twitter and in some of the podcasts you listen to, that's what they bring up is like how she slid to the side and the not yet part. And it's like, all right, man, like that's pretty impressive. That's good stuff.
Yeah. So the camera just absolutely loves her. She is over to the nines, and she'll be heading over to Friday night. We have the draft coming. The first round of the draft will occur in Jacksonville on the 8th of December. I'm sorry, 8th of April.
May.
And May, thank you. 8th of May.
The 8th
sorry.
of some month coming
I'm
up.
back. Sorry. And we may or may not, I may have to change some plans to get over there. So the camera loves her. Crowd was into it. This led up to a match that now has implications between factions. So Solo, I need you to take care of business. Hey, I got this. I'm the cleaner. I'm the street fighter. I'm the street champ. I got this. So he goes toe to toe in a average match with Ray. Ray hits a couple of 619s, hits a splash. He thinks he's going to get a pin. Not so much. And Solo comes out the victor.
Yeah, decent match. I will say that to me, it showed a little bit of some holes in Solo's game. So you can tell he's still a little green, which is fine. I mean, he'll get there. But big win. That's something you can hang his hat on. He went over a legend who I think is having one of the best runs of his career in a long time with Rey Mysterio for sure.
Yeah, he did a really good job. So the match ends. So now you have Solo, who's part of the bloodline, who's doing work for Judgment Day, and out comes LWO. So now you have three factions that, like, just the stories now that can be told. Like, if we were going to do like a War Games, or we were going to do, some other play on, let's get as many people on the show as possible. They do a little bit of business, and LWO is left laying flat. And so it was got the job done, moved the needle, and it told the story. So now the bloodline has held up their end of the bargain. We fade to the back. Decent commercial comes on, like in our area. Decent commercial comes on. And now we have.
Sorry, I just love that you obsess over the commercials so much.
So the commercial, because like you get the picture in picture, and then the picture in picture turns into a full on commercial. I'm like, dude, you only get 6 minutes for the women, and you're gonna do damn, the dating game. We'll be back in 2 and 2.
2 and 2.
And like, shit, man. So we go Adam Pearce now. He's Scrap Daddy is his handle on Twitter and Instagram, and he's backstage with Otis and Chaz. It's Chad.
Shush.
Shush. You're saying it wrong. Shush, please. So Chad is straight money. The writing is on the wall. The draft is coming. We're building those two separate characters. I hate to say it. They're going to go Alpha Academy is going to go away of the Dodo, and Otis is going to go with the Maxim models. But hey, great story, great business, and I cannot wait to see what they do with Chad Gable, who is on par with just about anyone. The Shelton Benjamins, the Kurt Angles. I know that's like quite the spectrum to jump from, but just his Olympic pedigree and the stuff that he does in the ring, just since that Cody match with him. So that
was such a good match.
Anytime I see him, I'm like, bro, we need to get you locked up. Him and Matt Riddle would be a lot of fun. Someone who's really gonna lay it in. Him and Ricochet, I think, would be a lot of fun as well. So, so they go back through, and that was pretty funny. They excuse him, and they carry on, and then probably the most confusing champion in professional wrestling right now is Bianca Belair. So she wins the match in WrestleMania. She's held the title for over a year. Asuka has all the makings of a champion, the marketing, the pedigree, the move set, the gear, the look. congratulations, Bianca. You're coming out of WrestleMania, and we're going to put you in a program with, we're going to get back to you. Now she has a match with Dakota Kai, which, you know what's going to happen because now Io Sky is in line for a championship match because she won the number one contender after last episode. Just really confusing, and I hate to discount not only a champion but Bianca Belair because she was freaking awesome in NXT as sort of a pseudo heel, and she could never get over the hump in NXT, and now here she is, your SmackDown champion, Raw champion, and I feel like she's sort of lost with the title. I don't know.
It goes back to the whole not being able to book women wrestling. Because same thing with Rhea. Like we talked about how over she is, how great she is, but she's not doing anything, and she's your champion. And then I think the same thing with Bianca. Like the Asuka and Bianca match at WrestleMania way over delivered compared to the build to it. The dancing around with the title, the goo coming out of the mouth. That match was a banger, man. They did great. Can you imagine how well that would have been received if they built a story behind it other than you won the Royal Rumble, or not the Royal Rumble, but you won. Well, I forgot how she got the shot, but you know what I mean? Like, give us story behind it. Give us something to get behind these characters because Bianca just kind of flounders out there. I like her. Physically in the ring, she's great. I don't think she's great on the mic. I think she has some mic issues. I think she's better on a big stage than a normal TV wrestling match. You put her in WrestleMania, she performs. She's over the top. It's fantastic. Almost like a Brock Lesnar special attraction kind of style. But I feel like when they put her on these show, like on a, hey, you've got 10 minutes to work, an undercard person, make it work. I don't feel like her pacing. I don't know what it is. It's just off. It's not quite like, if anything, she should have squashed her. She should have just squashed Dakota Kai in a minute, ran in there, hit a couple moves, boom, 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 done, 1, 2, 3, pointed at Io, and then walked out of the ring. Done. Because now you've set up that, okay.
Exactly. Yep. You're building it up. You're like, that's why she's the champ. That's why she's beaten everybody that's been thrown in front of her over the last year. But, hey, got it in. Io Sky is coming up soon. I think that's going to be a fun match.
And let me just say, by no means am I a booker, have ever been a booker. And all that. I feel like they could book her differently. If they booked her at this powerhouse champion, I'm going to go off on a tangent, I guess. But if they booked her to come in and do these, like Jade, if they booked her like Jade Cargill, and then during Monday through Friday or however, between pay-per-views, build a challenger up in the background, and then boom, at the pay-per-view, you put the two of them together, and now you've got a hell of a match.
Yep.
She can do her show, all the stuff she does, and she's really good at those big-time matches, and then she wins, and you're like, woo, cool. I don't know. That's just my take on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. And, then we had, Cody Rhodes wanted to address the situation with Brock Lesnar. And I really dig the redemption, like the grind, the hard times for Cody. And, I'm really feeling that. I know you're sort of on the fence because Cody has already done his hard times and, it may or may not be necessary. And I'm really feeling this. And I don't know if this is because I was hungover a little bit from the loss at WrestleMania. It took me a few days to get over it. I'm buying what they're selling right now with Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, we kind of talked before we got on the show, which is a big no-no for us. But you were really high on this promo with Cody and Brock. I was the opposite. I'm a huge Cody fan, but this whole segment, well, a couple of things. One, when Pierce said you're not cleared to wrestle, I'm like, from what? Why is he not cleared to wrestle? I didn't understand that.
F5'd on the stairs.
Yeah, but didn't he have a match last week? Or was it just a promo last week?
Yeah, just a promo.
Maybe it was just a promo. But anyway, so, okay, I'll let that one go. But
they didn't explain it.
Right, they didn't explain it.
Which means the fan has to think about it. And if today is the first day of Fan X, you're not giving them anything to hang on to.
So that's a thin line to run because I don't like to make that argument because AEW does that kind of stuff all the time. Like AEW expects you to know the past. And so like I said, I'll give him a pass on that. I, in my head, for whatever reason, thought he had a match last week, and that's why it threw me off. So if he didn't have a match, it makes more sense. But what this did to me is it made me realize Cody is WWE. Like, I know that doesn't, I don't know how to take that, but up until WrestleMania, he was not WWE for me. He was the American Nightmare. He was Cody Rhodes. He's the EVP. He's the New Japan guy. He's the Rhodes. Like, oh man, this is awesome. He loses at WrestleMania, which I still think was the bad call. And now it's just like, okay, he's just another WWE superstar. And this whole promo with Brock and the brawl with security, which didn't look really great, and his, you're a cow, you dress like a cowboy, but you're a coward. I'm like, oh, come on, like, what are we doing? I just feel like Cody is now just ex WWE, like whatever, insert WWE superstar name here, and great for him. I mean, if it's what he wanted to do and he wants to get into it, and yes, I can see they're going to build a redemption story. I still am under the belief he's going to lose at Backlash. I think Brock's going to beat him, almost like squash style, and then he's really going to have to do a redemption story because he'll have to climb his way out of, being all confident and bravado to coming into getting like 15 German suplexes in an F5, and then that's it. But although if you look at my WrestleMania card, I'm really not good at booking WWE stuff. But
yeah, that was freaking Vince's fault. Because that was a precursor to the Endeavor merger, which for those who have bought stock, we'll give you a quick update here shortly. But no, yeah, keep going. I'm I totally can't disagree with anything that you're putting down as much as I want to, and it hurts in a deep dark place because I wanted the American Nightmare to be rocking a new title. I wanted him to be going into SummerSlam. I wanted the summer to be the summer of Cody.
Exactly.
And we're not going to have that. So
and I think it's a missed opportunity. I think if you'd have won, everybody's talking about if you'd have won, it would have been like, the end of sex where you've released and you're done, you go back to sleep. But I don't.
Jeez, really?
Yeah, I don't think so. Right? I think it's more like tantric, where you get Cody win, and now you're like, now you have Brock attack him. Now you've got Brock as a challenger who just laid waste to him on the show, and now you've got Brock who's in his head. Now you're building up to a SummerSlam match where, like, holy shit, like Cody's going to lose to Brock Lesnar right away. Oh my God, Cody won, and you build. It's in the past now, so I'm going to have to let it go. I think it was one of the biggest blunders that they have done in a long time.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I think if they'd have capitalized on that and built it, the summer of Cody, like you said, would have been great.
Man, yeah, that would have been awesome. We had a couple of vignettes. I'm really digging this Bronson Reed character. I like the way they're booking him. They had him backstage before WrestleMania, bumping into Lashley, sort of like a boop, this may or may not happen, and should have happened at WrestleMania. Maybe attack him when he's got his trophy or, something sort of further along the story. Instead, they take Austin Theory, who's got a new shirt that looks just like one of John Cena's. And
I noticed that.
They put him back in the ring with Lashley, who I thought they were going to take Lashley away from the United States title to build Austin as this Cena-esque character, but a heel. And they've, again, Bianca Belair, here's your championship win, WrestleMania moment. We'll get back to you in a minute. And same thing with Austin Theory. But hey, Mr. Nice Guy's coming.
Yeah, Austin goes over, John Cena in a not so, and we called it that night. It did nothing for Austin, and it's proven it didn't do anything for Austin.
Oh,
like if he'd have beat him clean, I think you could have gotten more out of it. But
oh man,
yeah, 100%. Austin just looks like another okay. Like, and I enjoyed this match actually quite a bit, except for the fact that the prediction was I knew Bronson Reed was going to interrupt, right? Because you're not gonna give Lashley the title, and then you're not going to have Austin beat Lashley.
Yeah, there's got to be some kind of
right. So I saw the shenanigans coming a mile away on this one.
Yeah, and I deep down inside, because I saw that because of that commercial, I was like, oh man, so they've just programmed me to wait for Bronson Reed to come on. So I'm cool with it. But
I do like the Mr. Nice Guy, but playing a heel.
Oh man,
I think that's a cool little like if he develops this pretty good, it could be a very cool. I'm Mr. Nice Guy with a knife in your back. I just like they could do a really good job with it for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm hoping there's going to be someone showing up that's not currently on TV, because this rumored WWE hiring freeze is exactly that. It is a rumor. And WWE is actively looking to bring in some high profile free agents, although they missed out on Nick Aldis, who recently, kudos to him, just recently signed with Impact, and Jay White, who, congratulations to him, got the bag from AEW.
Yeah, I thought I saw Sean Ross Sapp say that it's not a rumor, it's legit. They're on, or maybe they were on a freeze and they're coming off of it now, but
Yeah,
the freeze was a legit thing, which is why they missed out on a couple of the free agents.
Yeah, so the freeze was like a real tight time period because they were turning financials over to Endeavor.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Or not Endeavor. Yeah, Endeavor to figure out. So to the stockholders and all that, WWE is doing well, and Endeavor is down 0.02%. So not too bad. So still a good buy, $24. The stock is valued at about $38.39. So if you're looking to get in on the ground floor before the two stocks merge into what will be called TKO, might be a good time. It's helped some, hurt others, depending on if you're trying to take a loss this year, like I may have to, because damn taxes. Cut to a commercial and then came back, and we had The Miz and Seth freaking Rollins. So I could talk about 2 or 3 different things. 1, we could talk about Maurice. 2, we could talk about Miz and Mrs. 3, we could talk about the WrestleMania commercial where Seth said, "Wow, I didn't know you were such a close talker," which was awesome. We could also talk about Becky Quinn editing her profile and starting this whole hullabaloo. But truth be told, Becky is dealing with a foot injury. So she was booked to be at Monday Night Raw up until like 3 days ago. So this whole hullabaloo will just squash that. So we had Miz and Seth Rollins, and man, you talk about some performers that can go, and you can feel however you want about The Miz and how he got to the WWE and where he is in the food chain. But my man is a 2-time Grand Slam winner, and Seth freaking Rollins is a performer of performers. And that, my friend, was a very, very entertaining sports entertainment contest.
Yes. Yeah, I thought the match was really good.
Slide.
I thought the match was really good. So the issue I had with it was you just jobbed the Miz out on WrestleMania 2 days in a row. So he gets jobbed out by Pat McAfee and the San Francisco 49ers dude. And then he was in the process of getting jobbed out by McMahon before he blew his knee out, and then gets jobbed out by
my God.
Snoop Dogg. So
double quad or double quad and knee or something like. But what a waste.
So,
and you didn't have LA Knight on.
Yeah, but we just squashed the Miz in like celebrity throwaway matches, and then to have him come out and have this pretty damn amazing match with Rollins, like on the cusp of 4-star TV match. I just thought it was kind of weird, and maybe that was part of the deal. Like, hey, I don't mind if you squash me at Mania, but I want to push. But how high is the push going to go? Because he ended up losing, but he looked really good in it. I enjoyed the match. I thought it was actually a really good match.
Would you like? I don't want to say safely, but does this fall into that 50-50 booking, or is it just like the inconsistent, like all of a sudden? And I don't want to say a throwaway match, because Miz he's coming off of being the host of WrestleMania, which arguably I think that's
a big deal.
A pretty good thing. But to take an elbow from Snoop, to job out to
McAfee and his buddy
on day one, and I now that you're saying it, I think the significance of the match, even though how much fun the match was, you quickly forget, your WWE brain quickly forgets because that's what they want you to do. But yeah, you know what? That's a really, it's not changing my beard's rating, but that's a very, very good point to the fans of, pick a wrestling organization, what WWE is doing. And that's your suggestive programming, which will now take you into the next program. So Seth Rollins is going to do blank. The Miz is going to do blank. LA Knight, is going to do blank. And now we cut to commercial. Yeah, that's a really good. That's your that's your educated pencil brain. That's a really good point, dude. Shit. Damn. Frustrating, but good point.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't want to take anything away from the match because I thought the match was good. I enjoyed the match.
Yeah,
I did. That was my only thing. Is like, why are we suddenly looking like the Miz is this massive superstar? And legit, thought I popped. I thought he was going to take Rollins out.
I did too,
and I thought it was just strange. And then like they already had a feud, the Miz and Rollins. And this was better than the matches they had when they were feuding, I thought.
Oh, my God, yeah.
This match was almost like, I felt like both of them came out to prove a point. And I don't know whether that's because in the back they don't have anything for them, so they came out and were like, all right, well, we're going to make you do something with us.
Yeah, Seth might still be pissed off about getting sent out of the ring on Monday. And, he wanted to show out just to, add, I don't know, speculation or smoke.
Right.
To Becky's Twitter editing or whatever, but yeah, dude, man, this was a fun match, and again, it goes back to, I think we talked about this on one of our casual conversations, like when was the last time you saw Seth have a bad match? I'll wait, and this was another one. Like, you see some performers wrestle down, kind of like Bianca Belair, Charlotte, and then you see some folks bring their competition up, and that's exactly what Seth Rollins and Miz did. They were like, "Oh, okay, hold my beer," and they just took each other to the next level, which it was so much fun.
Yeah, I think, in all honesty, I think it was the match of the night for me, for sure. I enjoyed the match a lot, but yeah, I was that was my only thing is, like, why are we suddenly pushing the Miz like he's a superstar? Which I'm not saying he's not, and I'm not saying he can't be. I just thought it was weird coming off of two kind of squash gimmicky things during WrestleMania when Rollins had a really good showing at WrestleMania to kind of have this meh. So I don't know. It was that was just bad booking.
Oh, yeah,
I'll call it out
good.
the bad booking.
Yeah.
But the match itself was great.
Yeah, that's I don't want to call it like 50-50 booking. But yeah, I like kind of like quirky.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah.
Just a weird.
Yeah. So the crowd was loving it. Steph, he owns the crowd, and he gets the whoa out and in. So the match ends, and that skull crushing finale. I think I've had a couple of concussions. We'll see if the Miz and Mrs. episode shows any CTE or whatever. Not that I want to bring any discredit to anyone who's suffered from that, but WWE programming, that could be something that Miz could use long-term storytelling. So, but yeah, so we cut to the returning Riddle, who I mentioned.
I like this segment.
Who I mentioned earlier. I'd like to see Riddle and Chaz Gable. It's Chad. I'd like to see Chad and Riddle in a program, and I'd like to see Chad wearing some WWE gold, not tag team. And, I feel however you want about the US title or the Intercontinental title or whatever. I was a huge fan of that European title because it was sort of the precursor to the Intercontinental in that Attitude Era. Whereas pre-Attitude Era, if you were wearing the Intercontinental title and you were in the WWE or WWF or WWF, they were making you into that guy. And now it's, sort of a token like, hey, you've been doing a really good job. Stay motivated. Drink some water. Here's a title. We have 3 months of programming for you to be part of. So Riddle has carried tag team gold with Randy Orton, and he has been a United States champion. And there was a couple factors why he was referred to as a transitional champion. But so we saw Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Riddle in the back, and this whole exchange went back and forth and back. And when I saw Riddle chop KO on the chest, not only did I feel a certain kind of way between Riddle and Owens, I almost felt something like clicked in a bad way between Sammy and Kevin.
Oh, really? I didn't get that.
I was just like, damn, we've already got dissension in the ranks, like, because they're sitting there like, why are we going to do this? Why are we going to, like, why? Like, and in my brain, I'm thinking they did it in NXT, and it put Sammy out for a while because he jacked his shoulder up. Then he comes to the main roster, and he gets hurt, and he's carried the Intercontinental title, and now he's a tag team champion. And Sami Zayn is absolutely worthy of being a world champion. And the character, the money that he can draw, the merch, like, so I was loving this bit because knowing the history of what Riddle went through to get to the WWE, what he's gone through behind the scenes since he's been with the WWE, and the 13, 14 years that Sammy and Kevin grinded from, the province of Quebec to LA to Orlando. I mean, they've earned their place on the roster. And I was like, man, this is going to be a lot of fun. These guys can go, they're athletic, and their characters can absolutely feed off each other.
Yeah, the segment was great. Like, I love the bro toe, and Kevin's like, what? And Sammy's like, and then he's like, no, I'm messing with you. And then he snapped into seriousness. And I love Kevin Owens walking around, see, I told you we should have talked to him. And that's what I said. So yeah, the comedic timing on this whole segment was really good. The only thing I'll argue with you is I don't see it in Riddle. I don't think his ring work is, I don't know. I haven't seen a Riddle match that blew me away to where I'm like, oh man, this guy is fantastic. And it could be just my lack of WWE watching, but I feel like he kind of one-dimensional. I don't know. Maybe I'll deep dive in and kind of look at some of his older NXT stuff and some of the, maybe if you got some matches you could recommend me to look at. Because when you said Chad, I'm like, I don't really see those two going at it. But
oh my goodness, are you serious?
Yeah, I think Chad could carry him, but I don't think Riddle's.
Oh yeah, I don't think Chad would have to be the ring general in that one, although he could. Yeah. You're right with that one, but I think I'll send you some Evolve and ICW.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind because
because
just because I haven't seen it doesn't mean it's there. Yeah. It's not there, but
no, yeah, that's fair. I mean,
what I'd like to see though is I'd like to see Chad Gable go after Austin Theory and take that U.S. title from him,
dude. 100%.
That's what I want to see.
Man,
come out of the draft and push him and let him get the U.S. title.
That would be a fun, like, if they could build a credible story, and like that would be the ultimate redemption from Shorty G to the United States champion.
Well, and then he could do the John Cena thing and do an open challenge every week, and some of the dream matches you could throw together with Chad Gable. Some good stuff.
Yeah,
it'd be worth it.
He's so athletic, and Otis jokes about his hips, but like just his technique and the speed that he moves, and I totally agree with you. I think that would be so much fun.
Oh, man, can you imagine him and Gunther going at it?
Oh my God.
Get him over to SmackDown and go after Gunther's Intercontinental title.
I just don't want to see anyone get chopped. I wish
Yes,
they would
please.
outlaw the chop. The chop and the pile driver. No, thank you. But no, I think so that bit ends, the segment ends, and I'm sitting there going, this was the second little Easter egg that I caught during this episode, like, oh man, don't do it. So the first Easter egg was when the Judgment Day was in the ring and Damian Priest shakes hands with Paul Heyman, and you see Finn Balor look at their hands as they're shaking. And I was like, well, wait a minute. Like, why would they question? I was like, oh God, don't do it. And I don't know. I think Finn is over with the Judgment Day, and he's one of those, like, I don't want to say existential because that's kind of a weird term, but he can move the crowd regardless if he's coming out of the heel entrance or the face entrance, and like his character work and everything is completely on par, or above what everybody else is doing. I think he should have a title, and I don't think he's ever gotten the proper run since he returned from winning the Universal title.
Oh yeah, when he got hurt,
injuring his shoulder.
Yep.
So yeah. So but no. So that was a great segment, and now we're brought into the ring with Theory and Lashley, and I don't know how you feel about the entrance for Lashley, but like when he does that, dun dun. They really need to stop that.
I fast forwarded through it, so
God, that is just such a.
I do remember it. I think it was at Mania when he came out. He did it.
Entrance, dude.
It's really corny.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, you need to go back and be a heel and just be a freaking smashing monster. So that Theory, good look. He's, I don't. Yeah. And the new shirt he's got is a complete ripoff of John Cena's hustle, loyalty, and respect, red, white, and blue kind of a situation. His T-shirt says ATD or whatever, A-Town Down, or whatever. And I'm just like, God, that's so corny. But hey, it's whatever. So they battle to a DQ. DQ, you say?
Not in WWE.
Yeah, because Mr. Nice Guy comes out and frickin' hits the tsunami. Man,
that's a lot of man meat coming at you,
bro. That move absolutely,
that would cripple me.
Watching a dude that size, frickin', what's a good word for climb? Like, just as he ascends to the top rope, you're like, God bless America, and he just smashes it, and that's a freaking awesome move, and that led to the DQ win for Lashley, which does two things. One, Austin walks out your U.S. champion, and now I feel like it completely separates Lashley,
yeah, I hope so,
from the U.S. championship, which I think ultimately that's what we're trying to do, right? And now it puts Bronson in a legit program to do what Hunter wanted to do when he brought Bronson in back. When he brought Bronson back, then you have Bianca Belair in a program with Io Sky, which is what he wanted to do when he brought Io back. So I think things are starting to come together for Triple H's guys to get back into a program, into Backlash. Yow, tied it all in. Let's go.
Speaking of Bronson, so at WrestleCon last year, I think you'd left, but he did a match with Cowboy James Storm, was the main event at WrestleCon that day. So,
are you freaking serious? Okay,
so
to every father, brother, uncle, and this is generally a guy thing. I do not like parking. I do not like traffic. and I do not like leaving, parking, and because of traffic. Hey, yo, deal with it, because you just missed out on another historic event. I missed out on a touchdown drive for the Orange Bowl and the Holiday Bowl and the Citrus Bowl that Notre Dame participated in, because I was like, oh, hey, I'll beat traffic. We'll be okay. And we'll somehow make it out and whatever. And as I'm in the parking lot, I hear, Wah! I did the same thing for the Giants versus the Jags. And I missed Danny Dimes running down the freaking sideline. And now, come to find out, I missed Mr. Nice Guy wrestling
James Storm,
who I eventually want to call James frickin' Storm a friend, because he lives in the greater Jacksonville area and he's filming a movie where he is playing a Marine. If you need a consultant, James Storm, please give me a call. I'm available to offer my services as a consultant. And man, that would have been so much fun.
Yeah, it was legit.
Both of them can sell and register like nobody's business.
Yeah, it was legit.
Damn.
Don't forget, you missed out meeting Cody too, because you left one of the Dynamites early.
All right. Keep it moving.
So Jared's like, yeah, hey man, I'm going to cut out. I'm not going to watch the main event. Or no, I think you watched the main event and then they were doing like Cody's birthday celebration. And you're like, I don't need to see this. I'm leaving. And Edie and I stayed, and sure enough, Cody came up and like took pictures with us. And but we were in line.
Next thing you know, you got photos with the Big Show.
Yep.
And
oh yeah, the Fan Fest.
You got Cobra Clutch by Sergeant Slaughter.
Yep. You left Fan Fest too early, and then Dustin Rhodes came out, and Britt Baker, and all those people.
Oh my god! So frickin' Dustin Rhodes. So I have one of his 9-line shirts, which is no longer available. The Unnatural 9-line shirt. I've got the first edition, title number 4 for the America's title. Sergeant Slaughter, no big deal. He only Cobra Clutched it. It's fine.
Don't leave early.
Hey, yo. Deal with traffic. Live with the memories. And yeah, man.
Yeah, because
damn it,
they put on a good match. Like it was probably a good 10-minute match. And at the end of it, James Storm, I think, went over, but grabbed the mic and put Bronson Reed over and talked about how, hey, I don't know what he's doing next, but this dude is going to be great and he's going to be a huge star. And I think just right after that, he signed for that New Japan deal. He went when he ran there for a little bit, but
yeah. So he so he left WWE, NXT. NXT is the North American champion, and he would go on to compete in the K1. He made it a couple of rounds. I think he actually, one of the matches I believe he had was with Finley's son, David Finley. And yeah, it was a hard hitting match, and Finley can lay it in, and man, yeah, that's yeah. So speaking of something that I hope I would never miss is Trish Stratus. Now, she has a move called the chick kick, but her ultimate thing, her presence, her offering, her presentation is referred to as Stratusfaction. And after hearing this promo, I jumped on the WWE network. I'm sorry, the WWE, .com, and searched the store to get a Stratusfaction t-shirt. It's not available because they're repackaging her. So as soon as her new Trish, the Dark Side of Trish or whatever, is available, dude, this was one of the best promos that they have given on the women's side of the roster. I mean, Charlotte is given a couple, but it was awesome. By the way, she is not a sidekick.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it went a little long-winded. Like she was trying to get some reaction from the crowd that wasn't coming. However, 100% agree. I thought it was a great promo. I thought, I agree with you. I thought it was really good. Other than the fact that I felt like, all right, maybe 1 or 2 sentences too long, but I love the interaction with the crowd where she's pointing at him and said, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I agree. It was a good promo. Other than just being a little bit too long, I liked everything about it.
Oh man, I was hook, line, and sinker, and I think, like what you said, a little bit too long. This is my WWE brain going, okay, it's a 3-hour show. We're not going to offer too much wrestling in our variety show, and the like, just her presence in the ring, and when she stepped back and she was like not a sidekick, I was like, yes, ma'am. And like the examples she gave, it was like me and like the average WWE fan, and that, not to take Jericho's comment or moniker or whatever, the demo god. Like most WWE fans are either under 18 or over 30, 35 to 39 or whatever. And like, man, just she really took you on this really cool ride of here's what the Divas title used to be, and then the women's championship, and then it was the butterfly, and no one ever said thank you, and the one door, and you want to be referred to as the man, blah 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 blah. And I was feeling every single second of it, because like seeing it live and Lita and Trish main eventing, like on a national television, let alone even thinking years down the road that we were going to see this in a main event, or even where Impact even pushed the envelope, and now GCW is doing the same thing, where you saw a woman holding that world title, and Tessa Blanchard was a credible threat to that world title. Now you have Masha Slamovich as the GCW champion. Just Trish ascending up the food chain, and when she was partnered with the Dudley Boys, and I think Bubba and Devon, they both run two separate wrestling schools, and their acumen or their intelligence for psychology and promo really helped her to the next level. And I just, man, that was, yeah. So I don't disagree with you that it may have gone a little bit long, but the rationalization, like my WWE brain would go, okay, yeah, they got 3 hours to fill, and why not fill it with Trish?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she's right up there with Rhea Ripley. Like, I'm never going to complain that they're on my TV too much, because
yeah, the things that they've done and what they present is very palatable, and like you can't say. Well, and we'll get to that. We'll get to what Rhea gave us a little bit later, because she gave all of it and then some to Kevin. So we had one of my favorite wrestlers right now on the roster. I got to see a lot of my favorite wrestlers on this episode. Huge Mi Chin fan, and Chelsea Green. So they were in a tag team match, Candice LeRae and Mi Chin versus Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green. And we really need to restructure, figure something out with the women's division. But we have what we have. Chelsea and Sonya have a decent chemistry, and they're both athletic. Both have a good look. Both the gear, I think, is hilarious. If they could figure out something with the trail that Chelsea comes out with instead of having that band, I think would be cool. Maybe there's some kind of a clip that she comes out with. But I thought that match was a lot of fun, minus Mi Chin not coming out the victor. I don't like seeing Mi Chin, take a pin. So, there's that. But, I don't. Yeah, I mean, it was business. They had to move a storyline along, and the women's tag team championship, tag team champions were ringside during this match, and I don't really remember any like real commentary from them that was meaningful or additive
I don't even think they had
the
headphones
match,
on. They were just sitting there.
which
I hate when they do
why
that.
are you going to come ringside if you're not going to contribute? Like, okay, you traveled here, you're getting camera time, you're taken away from LA Knight, and like there's just the little like man. So my WWE brain only goes so far. So then, so you get Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green, which I'm a huge fan of Chelsea Green. I'm so happy that she's gotten a couple of months of run and hasn't gotten injured, which has kind of been, she's gotten nicked up quite a bit. Then we get to a clip, a segment in the back. I'm sorry. So then Chelsea Green throws a drink on the tag team champions and they run off. So you're like, okay, shit heel does something dirty. Boom. Now we're backstage and you get Tozawa, who, back in the day, he was running amok with the 24/7 title. Then you had Boogs, who I am a huge freaking fan of because he is, born and bred to rip and shred. And he referred to himself as Thick Rick, which I think is freaking awesome. And then Elias, who is Tozawa thinks he's going to be the last pick in the draft.
And then Corbin, you suck.
Oh, and then Corbin, you suck. So I don't want to see Corbin get released, but like you've repackaged him so many times. He was the sheriff. He was the constable. He was happy. He was sad. He was with the wrestling god, JBL. And now he's just in catering. So I don't... it's frustrating because this guy can go. He's got a great moveset. He's got a good look, an awesome backstory. And damn, yeah. So...
good little segment.
Yeah, I don't like... Yeah, I could... like speculate, he gets written off. He shows up during the draft. He's a free agent. Now he's in a suit and tie like JBL was. I don't know. Probably not. Maybe he goes down to NXT because NXT, I think, is going to get gutted during the draft.
I'm curious if they're going to be able to draft to NXT. That'd be fun too.
Yeah. So the way they made it sound. Yeah. So that's a good point. Yeah. So the way they made it sound was every WWE superstar is available for the draft. And what I wanted to like fantasy book in my head was past, present, and future together. So that would mean that you would see Matt Cardona get drafted, but I don't know if we'll see that. Or some kind of surprise. And then Nick Aldis shows up on Impact the other night, totally shattered my dreams. Just like Gold Dust, because I was like, dude, do you remember that move, the Shattered Dreams? Like,
I told you Nick Aldis was going to end up there.
God damn.
I'm just surprised he didn't end up earlier to feud with Bubba Ray when he was tormenting Mickie James. But yeah, I figured he was going to show up there.
Yeah, so that's a great point. So I think that's his continuation story. Nick Aldis had the Heritage title, so he was defending that in like Canada and up in that area. So he was doing that set. So kudos to Nick Aldis and Mickie James. Hopefully this wasn't your last dance and you weren't retiring on the last segment when you relinquished the title, and Deonna Purrazzo is your new Impact World Champion over there on the women's division for Impact. And Macklin, prior Marine, hoorah, Devil Dog, do or die, willing to kill but never will. He is your new Impact World Champion, so kudos to you. And then he attacked it. We'll do that in another episode. So you get the segment. They talk about the draft, which I think what they're going to end up doing with this is it's going to be like a 3 or 4 city deal. And next year, I think they'll make a little bit more of a presentation of it, how the NFL draft does, where it'll be one city and they'll come down the aisle the first pick of the draft, blah, blah, blah. So the Usos are sitting there and they're talking and they're like, they're ready. And it was finally nailed down. So the Usos are going to go head to head with, so the Bloodline is going to go head to head with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and Riddle. But next week in Corpus Christi, you're going to have the tag team championships on the line. So, fantasy book it for me.
They're not changing hands. It's going to end in shenanigans. It'll end with Solo interfering, or it'll end. Yeah, something will happen. They're not going to give them the titles back that quick, because if they give them the titles back that quick, so they need to keep the Usos without a title to validate Roman Reigns kind of starting to alienate them. So if they were to get the titles back, it would kind of start messing the storyline up. So they'll retain, and they may beat them clean. I suspect it'll be more of Solo gets involved and it's a DQ, and then you've got the Usos mad because Solo interfered. Roman told him to go out and interfere. So I don't know, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out.
Yeah, so I was thinking the same thing. So Solo, Riddle, I don't see anyone else because Cody will be too busy with his Lesnar situation.
Right.
So, but the Usos are ready, and they're ready to be the ones. Judgment Day versus Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Riddle. And again, man,
another great match.
Just seeing Finn Balor in the freaking ring with ripped calves, a cracked and fractured, slayed, filleted scalp cranium, 14 stitches, and there was no skull damage. And just the pace that they moved at was so much fun. This was my banger of the night, and I just
this was good.
So much fun, great match. Dominic, he's such a sleaze punk jerk. Shit. And Rhea, that girl, I don't know what she's getting paid, but whoever her agent is, he's gonna get a nice payday, or she will get a nice payday when she renegotiates her contract.
Oh yeah. She has some amazing stuff, and like we talked about earlier, like whenever she's around, you just get kind of drawn to whatever she's doing. And there were a couple of things in this match where she was interfering on the outside, even to where she gets thrown out. The clothesline to Kevin Owens, and then her sitting in the corner giggling about it. And then I think it was Riddle got chokeslammed on the apron and was out on the floor, and she just sits by his head laughing at him like, "Look what just happened to you." Like, she's just so good, man.
That cackle.
Yeah. Cackle. Like,
that's up there with the Seth Rollins cackle. Like, oof.
Yep. She's great. And then they throw her out of the match.
She's so credible. Just like everything she does. So I would put her sort of in line with
Jamie Hayter, if you want to go AEW.
Oh, yeah. So Jamie Hayter, not a whole bunch of wasted moves.
Yep.
RKO.
Okay.
Just like he strikes, he doesn't do a bunch of extra stuff. He's not, flipping and flopping like they say. And like every week, she just gets better and better. And the Judgment Day is more credible after credible. And then next thing you know, you hear on What Culture, they're talking about Dominic needs to be a world champion. I'm like, whoa, let's slow down here. Like there was a rumored before WrestleMania that they were talking about sending him down to NXT to get polish. And now you're talking about, his camera or his mic work is gotten a lot better. Yeah. Every now and then he'll pop off with the keep your name out of my mouth like kind of thing, which I think
my
is
name
awesome
out of my mouth, or
like,
your name, my mouth. Yeah.
So shit, man. So it was a really good match, a lot of fun.
Yep.
Crowd was into it even after 3 hours. And there were some dark matches that weren't advertised. There were no injuries as far as what was reported. And, kudos to Little Rock. Kudos to Sami Zayn, KO, Riddle, and the Usos, and Solo for a fun match. And, again, WWE programming, you get in the parking lot or you get in the ring in the middle of the show and the main event. And it was, man, and it moved every single storyline from now until SummerSlam, which is going to take you from now until August. And I dug it.
Yeah, I thought all the matches other than the women's tag team, I think that one was rough. Everything else I thought was really good in-ring work. Specifically for a what I remember WWE shows being, and they've been doing a lot better with that. Like, I think it's funny. I think the Cody Chad Gable match kind of made me go, they're actually putting some bangers on in here.
It was such a good match.
It was so good.
I think I'll post that on our Twitter, because that's definitely a match that, if you want to see what Chad Gable as your United States champion will be, that is a match that he will give every single week.
Yeah, and that's up there in a year of no Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, or Iron Man match with MJF and Danielson.
I see what you're saying.
Could be one of those matches of the year contenders for sure.
Honorable mention at the minimum.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely one of those.
And it was a free match.
Well, yeah, and think about it. This is almost a month and a half ago, and I'm still talking about that match. So it definitely left an impression. I couldn't name any other WWE matches probably since then, but that one definitely was wow. The Miz and Seth Rollins this week was probably pretty close to it. I enjoyed that a lot too. But as far as just straight up watching the wrestling, that Cody guy, he's actually pretty decent.
He might have a future.
Yeah. Maybe if they gave him some face paint and something like that, he might do a little better. I don't know.
I may have to wear my Stardust shirt to work tomorrow.
Just to mess with me?
The face of weird is what his moniker was. Son of a bee sting.
But overall, I thought the Raw was pretty good. The action in the ring was really good. The comedic timing of these segments was good. I wish Raw would go to 2 hours. I think that's one of my major complaints is I feel like a 3-hour Raw is a lot of time to fill. And I think there's a lot of just filler thrown in there. And I think that may be one of my biggest issues.
Yeah. So I don't have my old button. Allegedly, what's going to happen from 10 to 11? The Raw 10 to 11 is going to be closer to the Attitude Era. Coming out of Backlash, they're going to do some reprogramming and offer a little more cutting edge.
So I don't know if you're going to kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know if you're going to see a main event for the first 2 hours. And then Johnny and Susie that are too young, they go to bed. But if you're you're friggin' DVRing or Tommy Dreamer TiVos everything, or I'm grabbing it on my app or on my cable provider, I have an app so I can watch.
Yeah, same here.
TV in my truck and stuff. Don't yell at me, DOT. But yeah, so all in all, I felt the show had a really good flow. I honestly need a little more Bronson Reed. I need more women's wrestling. And even if they're doing backstage segments, they have such a freaking stacked roster. Even if you're intermingling more NXT, because NXT, you're hearing about the WWE, Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. And, they did a really good job with the commercials and picture-in-picture. The crowd was into it. All in all, stand by. Drum roll. 4 beards.
I guessed 4. For those of you that won't watch, I had the 4 held up to see what he did.
Yeah, he
4 beards.
Hit me with the Quattro.
Yep.
Man, I would had Meacham and the Pixie won the tag team match. It would have been 4.5. I just felt that it did WWE programming right. and I enjoyed it. And not to say it is what it is or it was what it was, but it moved the WWE needle, got a lot of people on TV, and we just need more LA Knight. Yeah.
Yeah, I went 3.5. I thought it was above average Raw. I enjoyed it. Like I said, a minute ago, the action was really good. The comedic timing and some of the backstage segments were great. And yeah, I enjoyed it. 3.5.
Otis is gold.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I went 3.5. So those are the ratings. 4 from Ellie Jair, 3.5 from me. Hopefully from you guys out there in the audio world, 5-star ratings.
That's what we need, baby.
Wherever you get your podcast from, Apple iTunes or Apple Podcast. I keep doing iTunes. It's Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Audible, Spotify, iHeartRadio. You know the drill. Look us up, No Shave Man Cave. Subscribe to us so you get those downloads when we drop new episodes. We tend to drop an episode a day. Usually it could be anything from a 7-minute rant to like this one, an hour and 10-minute show reviewing. You'll definitely get a review of all your major shows and then some content in between. So wherever you get your podcast from, give us a subscribe, drop us those reviews, and don't forget to follow us on your social medias. No Shave Man Cave at Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the good stuff. No Shave Man Cave. Check us out. Leave us the comments. If you want to get in touch with us and you don't want to use Twitter, all that, No Shave Man Cave at gmail.com. I check it every day. We'll absolutely interact with our fans. Love it. And if you follow us, I tend to follow everybody that follows us, follow back. So even if you don't like us and you want to just follow us on Twitter. We're very close to that 1,000 followers. So we're working towards it. That's all I got. It's time for the hot tag and the finisher.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here. We are averaging, which is just freaking stinking astounding, over 1,000 downloads a day. And JT and I are absolutely humbled by the love and the following. Please keep the positive feedback coming. If you want to hear or see something, we watch it all. I watch Impact and New Japan, all the indies and GCW, whatever. So if you want to hear some more content, you want us to cut some crazy stuff, we're working on some interviews. We're working on everything under the sun. So thank you so much for the continued following. So keep up the great work. Keep looking out for one another, and keep up with your social media. Keep following us. And until next time, my friends, my fam, look out for yourselves, look out for one another, and we'll see you on the floor.
You've been listening to the No Shave Man Cave.
If it's pro wrestling, we're talking about it. Unless we see something shiny and wander off into the woods. If you hang around long enough, we'll eventually come back. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Fire off your comments and be sure to leave us a 5-star rating, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hit us up on Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at No Shave Men Cave. Y'all be cool, and we'll see you next time on the No Shave Men Cave.